The 2021 NBA All-Star Game is a little under 3 weeks away, so I figured I'd talk about who I think are the All-Stars this season. As usual with picks on the internet, people are going to disagree, so if you feel like someone I left off or didn't mention deserves a spot, let me know why you think that in the comments. With that said, let's start with the Eastern Conference. For the front court starters, there's really only one way to pick, and it's Kevin Durant, Giannis, and Embiid. I mean, I don't think you can justify anyone starting over them at those positions. They've just been so good. KD looks just as good, if not better, coming off of an Achilles injury. Giannis has been Giannis despite relative struggles, which still involves him putting up 28 and 14 every night. And then Embiid is one of the top MVP candidates in the league right now, playing out of his mind. As for the backcourt, I think there's so many combinations that you can pick, I don't think I can argue with anybody's selections. Personally, I'm going to have James Harden and Jaylen Brown. Harden is pretty straightforward, but Jaylen Brown, in my opinion, should not just be an all-star, but a starter. He has taken a leap this season, one that I did not see coming at all. I mean, sure, I expected him to improve, but the way he has been on offense has just been out of this world. His attacking off the dribble has been fantastic, and he's shooting 76% at the rim. His pull-up mid-range game was also nuts to start off the season, but he's still been very good from there, currently sitting at 45% right now. Not to mention, he's shooting 54% on long twos and 41% from three on a decent amount of attempts. All around, he's just been fantastic. So those are my starters, and now the snubbing will begin as we move to the reserves. I'll follow the same process for the reserves with 2 guards, 3 front court players, and 2 wild cards. It just makes things easier for me. For the 2 guards, it was really hard because there's so many good guards here. Kyrie Irving, Zach LaVine, Trae Young, Bradley Beal, Malcolm Brogdon. But for the 2 guard spots, I picked Kyrie and I picked Bradley Beal, as much as I wanted to put Trae Young on here. Beal has had a ridiculous offensive load this season and is currently leading the league in scoring with 32.9 points per game. So despite the Wizards being terrible, it's hard to leave him off the All-Star team. As for Kyrie, he's missed time and he's been pretty awful on defense at times, but he's still been absolutely stupid offensively as usual. 27 points per game on 63% true shooting. What more do you want? Dude is one of the coldest shot makers in the NBA. I had to put him here. As for my front court spots, I mean, there's a lot of guys to choose from, but 2 of those spots have to go to Middleton and Tatum. Tatum has been awesome this season. Maybe not so much as of late, but he's been crazy good on offense this season, even if his defense has taken a small dip. He's got to have the best sidestep jumper in the league, right? I mean, surely it's no contest. As for Middleton, I think he's deserving of a spot this year as well. He's giving a very efficient 20 points with 51, 44, 90 splits, which is 63% true shooting. But not only that, he's been giving you good defense and a definite step up in the playmaking department. Last season, I wasn't sure if Middleton could be the best perimeter option on the Bucks, and maybe he still can't be, but he's been way better when they run the offense through him, whether it's with the second unit some, or when Giannis just isn't having a great impact on the game. He finds open guys and cutters better, and he has been really good creating his own shot. So I had to give him one of these spots. The final front court spot is going to Bam Adebayo. He's had to carry an offensive load this season with Jimmy only playing 14 games at the time of recording, and he's been really good in that role. He's currently averaging 19.5 points, 9 rebounds, and 5 assists on 63% true shooting, which might be a little inflated because of him shooting 40% from 3 technically, but on 5 total attempts. And then there's the 2 wildcard spots, and I'm going to give them to Trae Young and Nikola Vucevic. I can't justify leaving Trae off, and if you want to argue LaVine should be over him, go ahead, but I'm putting Trae here. As for Vucevic, he's just been awesome this year, man. You can put LaVine over him or Sabonis or whatever if you want, but I just think he deserves a nod for what he's been doing with a scrap heap put around him with all the injuries in Orlando. I feel exhausted after that. But let's go ahead and get the Western All-Stars here too. The front court guys are LeBron, Kawhi, and Jokic. I feel like that's pretty much the right group. As for the guards, I think you can interchange a few guys here, but I'm going to have Curry and Luka. I mean, do I really need to say more about that? It's Steph Curry and Luka Doncic. But now we've got the reserves, and the reserve guards for me are Dame and Donovan Mitchell. Dame has been carrying the injury-riddled Trailblazers again. So despite his early season struggles, I'm going to put him here, which is a pretty obvious pick. I don't know what the general consensus is on Donovan Mitchell, but considering he's probably the best player on the team with the best record in the league, I've got to put him here. I believe the Jazz went 17-1 in a month or something like that, and had the number one offense and the number one defense in that same stretch. I mean, just wow. I mean, his efficiency could definitely be better. He still has his inefficient games as well as his good ones, but either way, I'm going to give him the nod for a spot. As for the front court reserves, I'm not going to include Anthony Davis only because he's going to be out for a few weeks and potentially longer. Who knows when he'll be back, so he's not going to be here. But who will be here is Paul George, Zion Williamson, and DeMar DeRozan. I know DeMar is probably not a popular pick, especially over the likes of Gobert and Brandon Ingram, but he's playing winning basketball right now. The beginning of the season, he was absolutely killing, and he's still been really, really good. He's averaging 20 points, 5 rebounds, and 7 assists to only 1.6 turnovers on 60% true shooting. Not to mention the Spurs are 16-11, which is probably way better than anyone saw them doing this season. So I gave him the nod. Then there's Zion, who has been an absolute mess on the defensive end, but on offense, he's still been an absolute beast. 24 points and 7 rebounds on almost 65% true shooting. I just think he deserves to be an All-Star. And then there's Paul George, and no explanation is really needed for him. He's been killing it. Then for my wild card spots, I'm going to put Chris Paul and Rudy Gobert. Yeah, 2 guys who aren't big on the numbers, but have a tremendous impact on their team. I mean, just look at Phoenix. Sure, Booker isn't quite right just yet, but they're sitting at 17-9 and the 4 seed in the West. Then Gobert, he is the Jazz defense to an extent. And while I could put Shea or Booker here, I'm going to put Gobert. I'm sure I forgot somebody, and I'm sure somebody will remind me of that person. But if you enjoyed the video, consider leaving a like and subscribing to the channel. I'd greatly appreciate it. If you didn't like it, leave a dislike. And y'all have a good one.